So today I decided to take inventory of all of the TV shows and movies that I have saved on my watch lists across all of the different streaming platforms that I watch the most frequently. And it's not as bad as I thought it would be, honestly, but I didn't help the situation today because I decided to add even more shows, a few documentaries to the list because in honor of Juneteenth, I decided that I'd like to, watch a couple of documentaries over the weekend. Just interesting stories. I don't get too hot and heavy with the super deep dive stuff. Every now and then I will. I try to look at some topics that are, not as heavy a lot of the time. So there are a couple of shows that I saw that looked pretty interesting that I want to watch, and a few documentaries that I saved. And there are some shows that I've had saved on my watch list forever and ever that I have yet to get around watching. Some I'm a bit embarrassed to say that I've never watched yet. So I'm going to be super late to the game, but in any event, whatever I watched, whatever stands out the most, I'll most likely, talk about it in a later video or maybe even a short. But some of the things that I added to my watch list today, um, on Netflix, I added Lawman Bass Reeves, and I actually enjoy westerns that are, have black casts or, main characters that are black. I enjoy them, because we're always used to seeing westerns and stuff looking a certain way all the time. So I like that. This is actually, I believe it's based on a true story. So I'm looking forward to watching that. I think it's 8 episodes. And then I added Happy, the History of Money from Crops to Stocks, where they talk about the money systems used like in ancient Egypt and how that has transcended and turned into what we know as capitalism today. So I always love money topics, stories with money, topics about money and how, different systems and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to actually watching that and seeing, and learning about the history of that. And then there is two documentaries that I have had saved on my watch list forever that I'm gonna go ahead and try to get around to watching, especially this next one because football season is a few months away. But I was supposed to watch this like last year when I initially saved it. I think I've had it saved since last year, and it is the history of the black quarterback. And I just thought it would be interesting to see the history of the black quarterback. And the other one that I've had saved for quite some time since last year that I actually started, I just never finished it, which was High Horse, the Black Cowboys. So, and it actually, what I did watch of it was actually really good. It was really interesting. I just never continued to watch it. So, I don't plan on, I don't know that I'll be able to get through all of these things, especially because Lawman Bass Reeves is like 8 episodes, but I'll try to get through at least 2 out of the 4 that I just added. And now I have like a ton of other shows, a ton of other shows on throughout all of my different streaming platforms that I use, and some that I've started I just haven't finished. Just Fallout, which isn't bad because that's only 2 seasons, and I'm like 2 episodes into the second season, so I think I have like 6 more episodes of that, and then The Boys, which I didn't realize there was so many seasons of that, so I'm like super behind. I think there's like 6 seasons, 6 or 7 seasons of that, and I'm only on like, I think I've only gotten through the first 2 seasons. I don't know if I finished the second season, so that's gonna take me a while. And then they have a spinoff, which is Gen V, and it looks pretty good. So I was wanting to check that out too. So I don't know. And then something I've had saved forever that I still have yet to watch is Twisted Metal. It looked pretty funny and intense and crazy. So it's right up my alley. I just haven't gotten around to watching that. So in any event, um, I enjoy those kind of like anti superhero. I love superhero stuff, and I also like anti superhero stuff. So that's the reason why I end up saving movies like that. But I just haven't sat down to watch it. You want to know why? Because this is something that I've talked about in other videos. I feel like I've always felt like I could be doing something else more productive as opposed to sitting around and watching, TV, Netflix, you know, or insert whatever streaming service, right? But I have a lot of time now. And what I'm trying to do is kind of just make time for a lot of this stuff that I just never really did, because what I'd find myself doing is when I did have free time before, because I was just always just doing so much stuff, just busy. And when I was ready to decompress, and if I did have, where I felt like I wanted to just kind of veg out, I'd end up watching just like old stuff, old TV shows or old movies that I pretty much know by heart. And I think that's like a real thing where you just, like for me, I just never had the bandwidth or capacity to sit and like focus on something brand new where I had to kind of pay attention to the storyline and what's going on. So I even still kind of do that now, honestly. But I'm trying to get into, starting back watching new series and new things, especially stuff that look pretty interesting. But that's something that I always have done. I've always defaulted to just the old stuff, the stuff that I know, because it doesn't, I know that it's going to be funny, or, I know what to expect, and I don't have to think about it, right? So it's one of the things that I'm working on, not simply just to waste time, but, just add a little bit more variety, to my day as I go through each day. So, in any event, I just wanted to kind of share some of the things that are on my watch list. Oh, the one that's on here that I'm a bit embarrassed to talk about, but I'm going to get around to it, is Stranger Things. And I know there's multiple seasons of that, and I know it came out eons ago. But I always tend to do stuff like that. Like when stuff is super popular, depending on what it is, I'll just kind of wait until all the hype and hubbub is down, and I can just kind of watch it, which is kind of backwards because you should watch it when everybody else is watching it, because then you can, have something to talk about. But for some reason, I always work the opposite way. I just always kind of wait. So I'm going to get around to Stranger Things. I think I only got through the very first episode, and I'm kind of surprised I never really watched it before, because it's like takes place in the 80s, I think, or it's like very 80s themed, and the 80s is like one of my favorite decades for like everything, all things, movies, music, pop culture. So yeah, I'm gonna get around to watching that at some point. I've had Stranger Things on my watch list for years, for forever, and just haven't watched it yet. But last year she kind of went through and scrubbed all of my watch lists, so they weren't too bad. Still probably a little bit longer. I had other stuff on there too that's not really these. I'm just talking about the things that stood out the most, and I'm like, oh yeah, I really do want to watch that. I'm gonna just get around to doing it eventually. So, um, also fun fact, as I was scrolling through Tubi to see what kind of interesting documentaries they had. Say, do you know, I counted 18 movies slash documentaries about Michael Jackson. that are on Tubi, which I think is it's just crazy. I was like, they have like 18. That's just what I counted. I don't even know if that's an accurate count. It might have actually been more than that. I think that's just when I was like, all right, I'm at 18, and I didn't really see anything else. But I was like, geez. And most of them, they don't look too bad. So in any event, I just thought that was interesting. I'm a Michael Jackson fan, so I just was like, oh wow, they have a ton of movies about Michael Jackson on Tubi. But they also have a lot of the other greats. They got Prince and Whitney Houston. In any event, I had spent more time today scrolling through and sifting through movies and documentaries. I spent more time doing that today than actually watching anything. And I'm pretty sure that that is a common thing that happens. Let me know if you do the same thing. Like if you just spend more time scrolling, and by the time you scroll so long and you haven't found nothing to watch, that you end up just not watching anything at all, or doing like I do, which is default to old TV shows or like old movies because that's your tried and true. Let me know if you do that as well. But yeah, I'm gonna try to continue to downsize my list, even so, like do kind of the same thing I've practiced with minimalism with like clothes and things that I own. So like if I add some new pieces, I usually get rid of some older pieces, or donate them or give them away. So I'm going to use that same method with my watch list, which I actually did, not for every watch list, because some of my watch lists are not very big at all, but the big ones are Netflix and Prime, Amazon Prime. Those are my two big watch lists. So I took a few off of Netflix, but I don't think I took a few off of my Amazon Prime. I can't remember. So in any event, I just wanted to, share what what I spent most of the day doing today, and figuring out the order in which I'm going to watch these new shows. But I'm actually excited to watch that The Lawman Bass Reeves. Those shows like that tend to be pretty good. I'm sure I'll get around to watching that one tomorrow. In any event, thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next episode. The next episode. Not the next episode, the next video. And remember to choose yourself, because that, my friends, is the ultimate wealth. And take care. I'll see you in the next video.